Okay, we are recording. Hello, I'm Fiona, and this is Rob MacManaway, who bought a TWF product from me sometime last year, and we thought it would be good to have an interview on how everything has gone over the last year since you bought it. Okay?
Absolutely. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Excellent.
Good morning, wherever you are.
Tell me, Rob, when did you join or buy TWF?
I bought TWF about the end of May last year, during a slow period in most people's lives, I think.
Yes.
So I was looking for diversification.
Okay, so you were looking for diversification. Why? What particularly drew you to the TWF model?
Listening to the interviews and what was actually said by both Jason, primarily Jason and Matt, on the presentations. So that convinced me to buy it. It was a 30-day money-back guarantee. So there's then 30 days to look at what the product was that they were offering. So it seemed a no-brainer to at least look at it and try it. And the quality of what was being offered seemed to be extremely good. The fact that it's Amazon, anyone sort of looking at anything in the news will see some things. They'll have bought things from Amazon. Amazon has been one of the biggest growth companies in this last year. Like them or not, that is, they are a massive business, and it seems to be the way things are going. It's like, so in my perception, we'd say if you didn't want to consider Amazon, then you're possibly the sort of person who doesn't want to have internet in the house. It's
okay.
Whether or not you like it, it's one of the ways that's here to stay. So.
Okay. And we actually did a short interview shortly after you bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of your feelings changed since then?
Why don't I get on with it a bit faster than I have? But I've got an answer to that. But that's the main thing that goes through my mind. So yes, when I started the course and was doing the training, I was on furlough. As I was nearing completion of the course, where I could actually get active, my business started to get running again, taking up 6 days a week. So I had less time to spare, less brain energy. So I did get one account that was willing to work with me, but there was a hiccup there, and I was trying to work out what the hiccup was, but I didn't actually have time to get back to it till December. So, or to actually get the problem resolved, I tried sort of speaking to people and didn't know what the issue was. The issue turned out to be that they wouldn't ship to my address, which was on an island in the west of Scotland. But I wasn't wanting them to ship to here, but there'd been that misunderstanding. So having resolved that problem, I have now placed my first order with them. So things are starting to happen.
Okay, so that particular hiccup was specifically with your supplier, not with Amazon itself?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, but it's something that other people who live somewhere remote like you need to bear in mind when they're setting up their accounts.
Yes.
That they need to explain.
And the main thing I've learned was if someone says, where would you want your products delivered to, then you need to have the address of either a prep center somewhere that's going to sort of do all the labeling and shipping for you,
Mhm.
or one of the Amazon warehouses. Now, whether
Right.
or not you, and they're easily enough found on the internet for the addresses, whether or not you use those specific addresses is less relevant, but at least they're sort of main shipping addresses that companies that are selling products to can relate to.
Okay, so you can set up your account with the shipping address being any prep center or whatever, but you can change that at a later date.
You can change it before you actually do any shipping. So
Okay, so you
it's
don't.
simply having an address for them to say, okay, he's someone who's actually got an address he can use.
Yeah. Okay. So
that we will supply to.
okay, that makes sense. Okay, that was sort of, we jumped a little bit ahead of my questions there, but that doesn't matter. How did you find the course, the TWF course itself?
The course is very good. Takes you in stages. So there's about 6 main stages of the training. You can start selling after the 5th stage, and I think you can start approaching people after the 4th stage to consider getting accounts. But the release of the information is staggered, so that you have time. You're not really able to rush, so you have time to actually take in to a fair degree. Like driving, the more you do it, the faster you get, the speedier you get, the more fluid you get with things.
Mm-hmm.
You get from a week to 10 days for each of the stages to work through and ask questions of the people doing the course, hosting the course, and put what they're suggesting into practice and experiment with it before they open up the next bit. So you do get quite well grounded in what you're doing, what you're looking for, before you move on to the next stage.
Okay, and each of their lessons, how clear and easy are they to follow?
Extremely easy. There's most of them are videos, but there's also, you can download the transcript of them as well.
Right.
So you can read the transcript. I didn't have any problem with the accent. Some people, and the 2 people behind TWF, they do have sort of pronounced Western America accents, or Southwest America. I don't have any problem understanding them, but if you did, or even if you didn't want to watch the video again, you just have had the transcript sort of, oh yes, that was the bit that I didn't quite get or missed, then that's very good. There are, some of them are short, like 5 or 10 minutes. Some of them are more like an hour as a lesson. Mm-hmm. Just depends on how big a topic that particular one is.
Okay. Yes, so the transcripts would help with people who are non-native English speakers as well, presumably.
Absolutely.
And also, if you have limited internet access to watch the videos, you can watch the videos, but if you can't actually access it, you can at least read the transcripts.
Yes.
Okay. What about I know they've got some live trainings, which I imagine for you were possibly quite often in the middle of the night.
They were. I think they started about 1 a.m. I think they may have others that start. I think I'll need to check. They typically do them about 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which I think is 8 or 9 with our time. But they did have a drop-in session, sort of late evening for them, which was, yes, early morning for me. And the one time I tried that, my internet was appalling, so I dropped out after about 10 minutes, sadly. But yes, what you said about having the interactive support, there's a very good support if you want it.
Okay, so if you couldn't make the live trainings and you wanted to ask questions, how would you go about doing that?
There's a Facebook forum where they have people who've done the course over the last 7 or 8 years, which is I think the time it's been running. And as well as sort of general conversations, people putting up questions about what's going on with Amazon or particular successes or questions they've got. there is for learners an area where you can look and get questions, so see the same questions that you're asking that previous people have asked. So there's a lot of information already on the Facebook page for you to make use of. And if you don't find your answer, then you can post it live and someone will come back to you. Anytime I've posted questions, someone's come back to me within 24 hours, sometimes as fast as within the hour.
Okay.
And I've even had comments from the chap who's sort of running the course to some of my questions. So very impressed with the engagement of the people who are offering the training. So it's not just recordings and transcripts. They always come across as really genuinely interested in helping you achieve whatever you want to achieve.
Excellent. And can you ask questions in advance of the question and answer sessions so that they would answer on the sessions or not?
Generally, you would get most of the information you wanted from the training.
Right.
It would be, for example, if you were going to look for a particular, let's say you were looking at an advert and you wanted to say, well, this seems okay, but I think, for example, there's too many words in the title.
Mm-hmm.
You could then go and have a look in the Q&A thing and say, how many characters are allowed in a title?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is probably there.
Right, okay.
But otherwise, if live sessions are sometimes set up and you just join them in. So if you've got questions, you can generally, I guess you could post them in advance, but then you'll quite possibly get sort of the general TWF group answering.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, but
No.
yeah, if you've got questions, you can get them answered more or less straight away.
Okay. And presumably all their live trainings and question and answers are recorded so that you can access them later.
As far as I know, they are, yes. But I've not often gone back and looked at a lot of them.
Right. I'm just bearing in mind that there may be people from all over the world who might be interested in doing this. So
yes. If you can't access the live training, you just log on and people will help you with your questions.
Right.
But I'm sure there are videos you can watch and tune into the legacy of all the previous trainings and all the questions they've asked.
Okay, excellent. What about Rapid Crush bonuses? Because that's one of the reasons that a lot of people will sign up
absolutely
through us.
It's a few months since I've done it, so I can't remember all of them straight off. But for example, rather than paying X number of £100 to have a website set up, the website is built for you. All you have to do is just let them know the individual details of your company name, etc., and they fill out the box, and there you are. Your website is built for free. You still then need to launch it and host it, but it's built for you for free. So there's between £300 and £500 saved at least. There are various bonus trainings. So, for example, looking at some of the adverts, you think, I think I could write that better. Some of the trainings that Jason and Rapid Crush offer say, well, here's some of the keywords you need to look for, and here's ways of actually searching for similar products and the keywords that they use that you might want to incorporate.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of excellent trainings there. Discounted software, such as software to source some of the products. So your general computer will look at a product and you see, oh yes, there's the details, there's the price. But then you need software, which Rapid Crush do get deals on, either sort of substantially discounted or some of them for free, so that you can then take that product and analyze and say, well, it's selling this number of products per month. Here's roughly what Amazon's take is. Here's how many other people are actually selling it, and here's how many of them would actually be competitive with me. So yes, that's what comes to mind straight off.
Okay, well, the only other thing that I can think of offhand, I mean, there may be some others, is the access to PAs to help you with your Amazon business.
Yep.
Have you made use of that yet?
PAs stroke VAs. No, I haven't. So a PA stroke VA is someone who you can have working for you from as little as an hour a week or an hour a day, sourcing products or generally sort of doing some of the legwork for you. I haven't made use of that facility yet because I've found a product I'm working with and I don't have the capacity to add any more products at the moment, so I'm not looking for more. Perhaps a month or two down the line, as things start to build, then that will start to change. I hope it does.
Yep.
Yes, bring on more. Yes. But yes, that is. I can't remember what the deal is that's being offered this time around, but I think there's a certain number of hours free. I can't remember that, but yes.
Okay.
From what I can see on anyone talking about them, they become invaluable. You get to know. I think you work with one person all the time. You train them in what you're actually wanting. Some of them are already experienced, so you sometimes find someone who's no longer needing an assistant. So they'll put a notice up to say, I've got this person, would anyone like to take on this person? They already know how to do this, that, and the other. Really great person. Okay. So that's a really good bonus. If you've not got the time to look for products, you can then focus on actually just getting the accounts. Excellent. Building the relationships with the brand owners. And
I believe these VAs are all specifically trained for TWF as well. So
I believe so, yeah. Which is fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Amazon itself. How have you got on with Amazon itself?
Amazon itself, I've had no particular problems. I think the issues I've come across are probably just an experience. So one of the first ones, I signed up to be a professional seller, but because I didn't actually sell any products in the first 3 months, I got an email to say that sort of professional thing is on hold, so we're not charging you for this at the moment.
Right.
It did say further to your request, which I hadn't requested, but I suppose by default, not selling, which it's good. It saves you some money if you're not selling.
Yeah.
I've had contact from an account manager who's provided some useful information when he's been in touch.
And how easy was it to set up your account?
It was quite easy. Every time that they wanted more information, such as proof of identity, it was quite simple to do. And if they weren't satisfied with something, or it was out of date, or whatever the issue was, next time you logged onto your account, it would say, we still need this, or this is missing.
Right.
So it's probably easier than actually signing up for a bank account in a lot of ways. So right. I didn't find any particular issue there.
Okay. And did you already have a business bank account before you started this?
Not for this, and I still don't, because the business bank account wanted proof of sales activity, which I wasn't able to provide them. So I'm just in the process of reapplying for that account now that I'm starting to sell.
So you didn't have to have your business bank account in order to set up the Amazon account?
Not at all. As long as you've got some valid way of them, getting paid for your Amazon profile, and a way that once you start selling, they can refund your or not refund, they can then credit your sales to, then that's fine. So whether it's a bank account or a card, they're not concerned. But I'd
Okay.
rather have an account, so that's what I'm
Yeah.
getting set up.
No, that's understandable. I can see that. Now, what about the amount of products you can send to Amazon itself? Have you had any problems there or issues or anything?
Um, I've had a challenge. It's not a problem. It's just a challenge.
Excellent.
I thought I could sort of buy a pallet of product and send it to Amazon, because I was the only going to be the only FBA seller listed for it. When I went to create my inventory shipping plan, I found that even though a pallet will take 320, the pallet takes 320 units, but they would only let me ship in 50 units at a time. So I then had to think, okay, well, if they won't take the pallet, where do I put the rest of it? Because it's cheaper to actually buy a pallet per unit than it is obviously just buy the small amount. So I then did research into some prep centers who will do labeling if you need it. They'll actually receive the product, they'll hold it, and then they'll drip feed it into Amazon according to Amazon's desire for restocking of the product. And I'm yet to see sort of how much that'll be. So what I've done, rather than just buying one product, I've split the pallet into 2 different products. So there should be twice the amount of possible product being stocked and going out. So rather than 50 units of one product, there should be 50 units each of 2 products.
Okay.
So that's, yeah, not a problem, just a challenge. And I guess as my profile increases and they get to see the business that's going on, maybe 2 or 3 months down the line, I'll be able to send us a whole pallet in.
Okay, so just to clarify, how long ago did you order this pallet of product and have it sent?
I ordered the pallet this afternoon. It hasn't yet been sent. I'm waiting to find out when it'll be sent. But I'm optimistic that it'll be in the Amazon warehouse by this time next week. And then hopefully within 2 or 3 days of that, so maybe by the end of next week, Amazon will have me listed as selling it.
Excellent.
Or active in selling it anyway.
It's very exciting.
It is.
Okay. Back to the course. You started when you were on furlough, then you had no time to do anything, and now you're back on furlough again. So how flexible is the course with regards to time that you put into it?
Totally flexible. You do it at your own pace. Initially, when you buy the course, there's as I said, they give you a minimum that they won't allow you to access the next stage for between a week and 10 days, depending on how well people are doing. But once all the units have been released, and they release them to everyone at the same time. So as long as the majority have got to a certain stage, even if you haven't actually started work on it, they're all released. And then you can just work through them at your own pace. So there's a maximum pace you can work at, but there's no minimum pace.
Okay. And have you found any drawbacks to not having done it for several months, sort of in the middle there?
Apart from payments for 1 or 2 of the bits of software, which I've chosen to keep active, no.
Okay, excellent.
No
so very flexible. You can put in really as much. You can put in really as much time as you have at any one time.
Yes.
Okay. Now on to, you have to, within the TWF way of doing things, you clearly have to approach your potential suppliers.
Yes.
Did you have to approach many people? And how did that go?
I approached several people. I used emails as the main method for me. Some of them didn't reply. Part of the training is sort of saying, well, you can try this email, follow it up a week later, then a third one a week after that. So several of the accounts that I approached didn't reply to any of them. So understandable, they're not interested, so move on, find another one. Some of them wrote back and said, you know, you're too small for us to deal with, but here's the address of our main stockist. So approach them as your source for product. One chap came back and said, well, we only do it by the lorry load. So if you want to buy a lorry load of pig's ears, I'm more than happy to work with you, but that might be too much for you in one hit. Well, I said, yes, it was. Come back in a year or two. But the company I'm actually working with at the moment, I found them, I saw that there was an opening in terms of things that I could do with them and their products and the way that they advertise on Amazon. And all I had to do was apply for a business account with them. So they haven't actually asked me any questions about where I'm selling. They're happy that, you know, if I want to sell the product, that I've got somewhere that they can ship to and I can sell from, other than my home address.
Other than your home address, yes. So pig's ears, yes. What is it that you're selling?
I'm not selling pig's ears. The product I'm starting off with are dog treats.
Okay, so the pig's ears were going to be for dog treats as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Right. Just because it sounded a little strange there.
No, it's definitely not fancy dress.
Okay. Okay, so you haven't actually had to persuade this company in any way. They just accepted you like that.
They accepted me like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
Yes.
So that's not the norm with the TWF format, because the TWF format is saying go and find something that's possibly not being optimized on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I found something that's definitely not optimized on Amazon, but I haven't had to persuade them. The conversation of Amazon hasn't come up. So, okay. Which has made it easier in some ways, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge that definitely will come, but hasn't yet.
Okay. Now, the last bit was costs. Clearly the TWF course costs a certain amount, but what other costs are there on top of that before you can actually start earning?
There's the cost of the training. There's a cost to register with Amazon. I think it's about £30 per month. But you know, you can delay your registration with them for a month or two, and hopefully then you'll be selling fairly quickly, so you'll start to get your costs covered. Mm-hmm. There's the costs of the sourcing software, so you might, and one or two of the other programs, so you might have to have £300 or £400 over the year for software. That's my experience. Mm-hmm. And then £500, say, upwards to invest initially in stock.
Okay.
But if you don't have the money straight off, obviously some people have got credit cards, so you can buy product on the credit card, and hopefully the expectation, if you've done your work properly, is the money will be the product will be sold and money back in your account before you've got to pay the credit card bill. Right. So you can as long as you're not overstretching yourself, then you can manage your cash flow that way without actually having to have a lot of capital to lay out.
Right,
But you
okay.
have to obviously be careful, but yes.
Yeah, you have to have done your homework to make sure that it is a product that's going to sell.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I'd say sort of if you've got £500 upwards for stock, then that's a perfectly manageable amount to get started with. And hopefully it builds fairly quickly after that.
Okay, yes, because you can always just reinvest your profit in more stock. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to say about the whole experience?
I've got nothing but positive experiences from the Rapid Crush team. The TWF team, as I said, whenever you put a question up, there's a response, usually very quickly. And there's lots of other people out there, so you can see that other people, it's not just plain sailing. You do need to sort of work at it, but there's lots of support there if you want it. So there's nothing but praise as far as that goes. And there seem to be sort of upgrades and revisions. So what's coming out this time is a step up from what I got last time. So the virtual assistant, sort of personal assistant option was not included last time. So that's a big bonus for this time.
Okay, I'll correct you there. It was included in the last one, but not the one you bought from. Because
my perspective, that's the same thing. But yes, I understand.
Yes. But it was made available to you as well, even though it wasn't available when you bought it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's clearly a bonus, that when things become available, they're usually made available to the people who've bought before.
Yes.
Which is great. Okay, well, thank you very much for that interview, Rob.
Yeah.
And I will wish you the best of luck with your product arriving on Amazon next week, and it should all go well. I'm sure it will.
I'm sure it will, and you'll be amongst the first to know.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye for now.
Bye-bye.